So I would like to start by saying thank you and welcome to the program. And if you guys want to go around the table and introduce yourselves so we know whose voice is what, how, that would be great.
Okay, this is Mark Williams, the co-founder and producer of the documentaries.
This is Keith, IMC. I'm one of the hunters.
Hi, my name is Sarah Hudson, and I'm also just one of the hunters.
Hi, my name is Happy Freejo, one of the co-founders and host.
My name is John Factor. I'm also one of the team members.
This is Brian Freejo, one of the spirit chasers over here in the Oklahoma territory. So really glad to hear from you guys.
And that's everyone that we have here tonight. We're missing a couple of team members, but that's all who we have right now.
I guess we can say they're there in spirit. All right, good. I got nervous on that one for a second. So, introducing you to our listening audience, I stumbled upon you guys on Facebook, and if they put in Native American Paranormal Project, is that the best way to link up with you guys on the Facebook?
Yeah, you can do it through Facebook. You can even just Google that, and it pulls up some of our trailers and the Facebook page. So, yeah, that would probably be the best way.
So where can we see long versions, like your whole documentaries? Because I looked for something, and all I found, what was it, the Grisso mansion? Mm-hmm. I watched that last night. Creepy.
Yeah, that's the only one that we have online at the moment. We have the other ones that's available. What's going to be available on DVD. We're going to be releasing a Kickstarter campaign in a few weeks. That's going to make all of our past documentaries available on a 2-disc set. Up until now, we've always just had public screenings, at theaters, community buildings, just wherever people invited us, we would bring it to them to see it. But it's never been made available till hopefully here in a couple of weeks.
Well, keep us posted, because if there's any way we can help get your campaign information out, I would love to. I am so excited. So what are some of your pre-nap experiences that kind of inspired, oh, you know what, we should do this moments?
Well, for me, this is Mark. For me, it was just growing up, just hearing ghost stories, and just whenever my family would get together, we would eat and hang out and enjoy each other's company. But at some point, especially when it starts getting dark, my uncles and my grandpa, we would just start telling ghost stories, and I just always enjoyed that time and just seeing how everyone would react to the stories and try not to act scared. And I think it's just that I just always had a fond memory of, and I just try to bring it to these documentaries. So growing up, that's pretty much how I got started. So.
Just like Mark said, this is Keith, and I just, enjoy our historical stories and accounts of people that have seen things that are, I guess you could say, supernatural or not of this realm. And so being an indigenous person who believes in that and has experienced those supernatural occurrences in my life, and growing up around that, you've always enjoyed it, and you like to tell the stories. And so us being able to translate these stories as natives, by natives, for everybody, is why I'm a part of this, to have an opportunity to tell our own stories as indigenous people, and whether they be about our historical battles with this government, or in this case, our scary Indian stories.
Oh. Any of the ladies?
This is Sarah. I would say I went on like a couple, ghost hunts with my dad before he passed away. So that kind of made me a little bit more interested in it. But also growing up too, I just heard tons of ghost stories, and I have an aunt of mine that has always told like really, really good ghost stories and always scared us, and sometimes even it made us afraid to go some certain places by ourselves or something like that. But yeah, so that's kind of what made me want to join.
That's awesome.
This is Happy. For me, Same thing. Growing up with hearing scary stories and always wanting to see something or hear something as we're telling these stories wherever we were at. And then a little bit before I had talked to Mark about it, I had been on tour, and we were staying in some haunted. They were hotels that had a history to them that were known as being haunted. And I was watching, those ghost hunting shows. So when I first met him, he shoots horror films. It was kind of a talk like, hey, wouldn't that be cool if we had an all native, if there was an all native ghost hunting show, and kind of sparked that. And then a year later, we started doing stuff.
This is John. To be honest, at first, I remember hearing stories when I was a kid too, but I never really was into like the paranormal stuff. And then Mark, he asked me, hey, think you'd be interested in doing it? And I said, yeah. So, I came along for the ride, and I'm still here.
What a ride it is, I guess, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Brian. Losing my voice a little bit, but yeah, same as everyone else. Like, grew up hearing stories here in the Midwest or the Southern Plains country, traveling and hearing a lot of historical teachings and just beliefs that we have. And growing up, you learn a lot, from the stories and things that you experience yourself. So to go out and to see things and to have things happen, is kind of just the icing on the cake. We just go out to places that have a history and have a story, and we like to tell those stories. And through doing that, with Nat, we've seen a lot of things happen, more than what I see on a lot of other TV shows.
Well, there's some supercharged energy there. So let me ask you this, and why ghosts? Why do you guys think that certain spirits linger or quote unquote can't move on, or why do we have this sometimes loud echo from the other side?
Well, I think that varies with each location. I think some of the places we've been to, some very bad things happened. Like, say, for example, some of these boarding schools where these are things that are not taught in history books, but a lot of these kids were killed, murdered at these schools. And I think you have these abrupt endings to their lives, it's very tragic. I think that's one reason at that location. But then here's another one that's on the other side of it, is our latest documentary is called Our Church, and it is about an old Indian church over here in Seminole County, and they have a lot of activity there, but the presence there, I think that they stay there because they enjoyed their time at the church. It was a big part of their life, and so whenever they see and hear things, it's a comfort to them. It's almost a peaceful feeling. So I think it just kind of depends on the location that we go to.
See, that's what I want to be, as a happy ghost. Keep you up all night giggling and trying to play cards or something. Ha 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 ha. Love me. I don't know. So what are one of your guys' creepiest experiences, on or off record? I want to feel the goosebumps.
Well, Grisso Mansion, everything about it was creepy to me, but
Amen.
There's one thing that at the end, well, I don't know, there's you see us going through a walk-in closet, and that's me walking through the walk-in closet. It's kind of greenish inside. But I stopped and I'm kind of scanning around with my camera, and I felt a full hand run through my hair.
Okay, I got him.
That's probably the pretty scariest thing I've heard that happened to me.
And then do you guys just keep it cool, or do you squeal and hold each other while you sob in a corner? Because that would have been my moment of, I quit.
Yeah. Mark tries to hug us, but we don't let him. No, I would say just to add on to what John had said. This is Keith. Just to add on to what John said about Grisso Mansion. When I pulled up to Grisso Mansion, right when I got out of my car, the first time I ever went there, I opened the door and I got out of my car and everybody was already in the mansion, and you could just kind of feel this sense of eeriness there. It's. I think Grisso Mansion is a lot different than the other places that we investigated. But when I got out of the car, right off to the right in this open area, there's a gazebo, and I just heard a woman scream, and nobody was over there. And so, knowing that and knowing the history, or hearing that and knowing the history of Grisso Mansion in regards to what this man did to indigenous people and the theft of land and the murders that were committed by him and his people, to indigenous people, you get a sense that the history there is very troubled. And so that's why I feel like Grisso was a really creepy place, because the energy in the mansion really reminded me of, because I grew up watching scary movies, so it reminded me of the old 80s horror films where they're in the haunted mansion, and they're really creepy, but to actually be in a mansion like that and knowing the history, it just sends chills down your spine, and sometimes you don't even know what's going to come around the corner because it's so intense, and there's so much activity, and you just can't deny it. It's so scary.
Are you guys just all absolutely traumatized from Grisso Mansion or what?
No, but I want to go there alone.
Yeah.
Well, what got me is, again, the EVPs. They always get me because you can't deny that. And then the shadow man getting off the chair. I had one of those all hell no, moments. Like run type of things. That was, yeah, there's just some phenomenon that you can't argue with because our brains, our minds wander and imaginations. We do a lot of stuff to ourselves, but there was some stuff going down that you guys picked up, and that was crazy.
Yeah, did you see the part where I said, I have land too, Doc Grisso, you want to take it from me? And then you hear the EVP say kill?
Yep. Yes, that was a good one. And then the I died. Or over there, I died. I was like, you know what? Okay, you don't have to show off. Just, we get it. So I got a question. Like, how do you guys feel about orbs? Because I was just taught, they're dust. But you guys got some pretty interesting orbs there at odd times in the Grisso Mansion.
I think, after you've done it a few times, I've kind of gotten better at distinguishing. A lot of it sometimes is dust. And for me, it's the movement of it, and if it's transparent, and it's especially the line of questioning that we get, too. If you see multiple ones moving probably in the same pattern, it probably is dust. But if you see just one or two, especially if they're moving opposite direction or they're kind of moving toward each other to move away, I think you can probably say it's orbs. So before we put it in there, if I just think it even looks remotely like dust or something else, I just won't put it in. The ones that, like John captured in Grisso Mansion, you thought it was just a single one that flew by, and the one that came from the curtains, those were ones that I felt were legit and felt that was worthy to make the documentary. So it is, to me, it's kind of it's a tricky issue.
Tricky territory. Well, Brian, were you the one that was talking about the mirrors in the mansion and how you wouldn't look at the mirror?
That was Steve Jacob. He couldn't make it.
Oh, that was Steve. Okay.
But yeah, he was very uncomfortable in there, and he's right. There is a lot of mirrors in that mansion, and I don't know why, but it's just I could see why he would be.
So it's not like based on an old superstition or myth. They gave him the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, pretty much. He just said it was just uncomfortable, and he just never been in a room, especially that room. I think there was about eight mirrors in there, and that was the first session that he did that night. And so right off the bat, and that was the owner, Doc Grisso and Maggie Grisso, that was their bedroom. And so right off the bat, I think he just felt uncomfortable, and just a room full of mirrors just kind of just automatically just kind of put him on that unsettling vibe.
I'm having post-traumatic flashbacks to what I watched last night. And of course, I did it in the dark alone because it's more effective that way. Well, I noticed at the end, you guys had a smudge session and saged yourself. Would you like to share the importance and significance of that?
Yeah, basically, we don't want to take spirits home with us. If there is anything there that, could follow you, you always want to, make sure that you clean yourself off, and leave in a good way, make an acknowledgement and a prayer. That's with anything with our culture. We always smoke off, before everything. So this is no different than any other time when we would do that. But it's good because there was times where some of these team members didn't smoke off, and they took things back with them, and they followed them, and they haunted them.
You guys should have a GoFundMe just for sage, a sage drive only. Like truckloads of it, grind it up and put it in both ends, whatever it takes to not bring anything home. Sweetgrass suppository. I am probably going to edit that out. I want to ask, we have intuition. Do you guys feel like inclined when you're on these hunts that you have to like save something or fix something or exercise something? Or are you guys just kind of going in to observe, record? Do you see what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah, I think the last thing you said, it's more, we just want to document our night, basically. We don't try to remove anything. We get asked that a lot, or I'll get, through Facebook, we'll get a message about their house. They want us to come over there and get rid of it. Or, that's really not what we do. We just want to research and tell the story about the history of these locations, the historical impact it's had on the communities, the paranormal side of it, and then just go out there and investigate, and we document it, and we just show it to public screenings. We don't try to convince anybody that it's haunted. We show them what we find, and we just pretty much let them be the judge. Just show us that this is what we found. What do you think? And just kind of leave it at that. We're none of us are, when we came into this, were professional ghost hunters. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even like using the term ghost hunters. I've always referred to us as paranormal enthusiasts.
Word.
And that's the way we kind of approach it. And so we just, now I think we're all documentary filmmakers, if you think about it.
Well, you sure is. So, Happy or Dara, is there any like special women's spidey senses that we have? Come on, just say yes, because it makes us look cooler.
Yeah, I think so. Like when we did Wheelock was Wheelock was our second or third. Our second one, and I just got real spooked before we went in there. And I thought, I don't want to go in here. And I just felt like, I don't know what I'd be afraid of, but sometimes when we go in these places, like one of our other team members, she had gotten sick in the basement of Wheelock, and I was feeling that dull ache also when we were down there, and that was where they had, buried some of the girls down there. If they had died or whatever, that's where they put them down there in the kind of like, it was like a dirt basement. It was just like piles of dirt down there, and there were a lot of orbs in some of the photos we saw in there. But yeah, it's just a sad, kind of heart-wrenching feeling when you go and you know that all this has happened to our little girls. But yeah, I like to think my intuition is strong and can sense some stuff. But it's exciting what we do, and what we're doing it became a lot more than what we had planned and what we thought of it. We didn't know. I don't think we even thought about where it would go or what it would be. We just went and did an investigation, and then from there it just kind of grew. And then now more of like a cultural education on historical traumas and things that our people went through. So that part I really like what it's become, and it's really cool, the education part of it. It just makes more. And you got to understand, we don't have our equipment is fair, but we don't everything you get is genuine. It's nothing extra or anything. What you see is what you get. You know, that's it. What we hear, what we pick up, whatever we see, that's it. It's nothing, you know, fake or digitized or anything like that. We're just keeping it real, and that's also, that's what makes it probably more scary. And then when our audiences see it, they can relate because they're mostly Native, and they go through these things at home or wherever they're at work or wherever they, you know, been in their community.
So are only like buildings haunted, or can there be like an open space kind of haunted place, or is there some significance to the building holding in some kind of energy or something?
Well, back in like southwest Oklahoma towards like Lawton, that's where I'm from, around the Anadarko area, Lawton, stuff like that. And they're always like, hey, why don't y'all come over here? And there's like Medicine Park, you know, Wichita Mountain Range. It's just like a big, kind of like that, a meadow. And they say they hear like, they just hear odd stuff all the time, like people talking and horses running and whatnot. And we also did a documentary on Fort Washita, and it's like just a big field, you know, bunch of old buildings there. And we didn't experience it, but I remember hearing about little kids getting bit by horseflies over by a stable where they held the horses, but there were no horses there or nothing. They heard the horses and got bit by horseflies and stuff like that.
Creepy.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that, you know, something traumatic happened in a certain area, then chances are it has the possibility of being haunted.
Okay, so what can I do as the layman to make sure that my ghost is there for always? So I just have to be like really excited or really sad at the moment of death?
I don't know. I guess it all depends on what happened, I guess. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, there's been 1 billion trillion people have come and gone throughout the centuries, throughout the millennia. And you'd think that if all of them, or even half of them, or a third of them were, you know, stuck somehow, you know, we'd have a lot more sightings, or more places would be haunted. And there's even some places that some down and dirty has gone down, and it seems like all the spirits just fled and said, nope.
Well,
there wasn't even a question in there. I'm sorry.
Just like spirits, you know, spirits are good, spirits are evil, you know. I think everybody passes on, but they leave evil spirits, you know, like come back, you know. And I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I've read a lot into theology. You know, that's not everybody's beliefs, but you know, it talks about spirits all the time. You know, like after we're gone, you know, our spirit moves on. Maybe a bad spirit, you know, bad spirits, they move on, but they come back. You know, that's just like what I thought. You know, it's all just like spirit.
In like, I want to say like the early 1800s, some scientist calculated how much like air we have in our lungs, or how much gas we, you know, contain while we're alive, and that at death, 21 grams isn't accounted for. So he was saying that could be like, you know, our spirit, that 21 grams. Did you guys ever hear about that?
Yes, we have. We've heard of that. And we do believe that, you know, the spiritual form can be a tangible thing. It can manifest itself into a tangible thing that you can actually feel. And so, you know, that belief that our spirit actually has weight, you know, is true, because what do you feel? You feel cold air, you feel warm air, you feel something move by you, you know, that has weight within the within the air, you know, it has weight within this realm we live in, you know. So, you know, what we're actually dealing with, you know, things that may be going back and forth through vortexes or back and forth through a parallel universe, and that's deep.
Show is, Keith. That's deep. Well, let's spend the last couple minutes we got here together to talk about your new project and your GoFundMe and how our listeners can help.
The latest documentary is called Our Church, and we don't have a release date yet. We are going to have, first and foremost, we're going to have a private screening for the church members and everyone who is involved in it. And then our official premiere will be in Seminole County. After the premiere, it's going to be made available to anybody who wants to book a show. Just let us know, set it up, and if it can't work out, we'll come to them. The best way to do that is just through my email. They just email nativeboyproductions@gmail.com and just get in touch, and we'll work out the details. What we're trying to do is, as far as the fundraising, it's a Kickstarter campaign. We've got pretty much everything set, and we're going to be giving out incentives, T-shirts, some different types of clothing line, our DVDs. The most popular DVD is that Wheelock Academy. Right now, we don't have full permission from Chocolate Nation to sell it, but it's a story that needs to be told. People need to see this documentary. So what we're going to do is, through Kickstarter, if they back us, and if they share it, and if we reach a goal, we're going to give out Wheelock for free. And we're using those funds so we can travel, so we can go to these locations that people want us to go to and visit. We get emails and messages almost every day. They want us to come to their school, to their church, to their home, to their tribal building, to their reservation, but we just have no way to get out there. Everything right now is privately funded, and so we're very limited on resources. But we want to get out there. We want to show these screenings everywhere. And so we're hoping that the Kickstarter campaign will allow us to do that. We're also going to upgrade some of our equipment and just go from there. Hopefully we'll release it here in a couple of weeks. All the details, the link, everything will be through the Facebook page. After the campaign is out, we will have a website up, and that'll be Native American Paranormalproject.com. That'll have links to everything. So right now, the best way is just to follow us on the Facebook page.
Follow, like, and share. So what is your most invaluable piece of equipment?
I think editing software, really. Yeah. I mean, that's where everything's made. I mean, movies, documentaries, no matter what it is, I think it's made in post-production. And so that takes the majority of the time. And we've been done filming for a while, and we're still in post-production putting it together. Since then, we did our first documentary. We mostly had cell phones. I think we had one professional high-end camera, and that was pretty much it. Everything else was through handheld, mini DV cameras, a couple of cell phones, and we still use some cell phones. The shadow that you saw at Grisso Mansion, that was captured on John's cell phone. And so, I think it's people believe you have to have those equipment that you see on TV. Those thermal sensors and, motion cameras, which it would be nice to have, but we've captured quite a bit of stuff just using, our limited resources. But, I would like to supply at least every team member with their own camera so we can get more footage. Hopefully we'll get there. So, yeah, just definitely spread the word about our campaign, Facebook page, and help us get there.
It's amazing work you guys are doing. And was it Dara who said, this is cultural stuff. This is history. It's telling stories that don't normally get to be heard. And it's picking up these amazing echoes of all this. So you guys are onto something. I so appreciate you spending time with me today. And keep us posted. Post stuff on our Facebook page, however we can spread the word. We're behind you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
What do I say? Mark, Keith, Dara, Happy, John, and Brian. Yokoke Amkana. Thank you, friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll have a spooky Halloween, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right.